This is BBC Two broadcasting from the final frontier.
Hailing frequencies open, sir.
Now on BBC Two Star Trek Night, men and women distinguished in fields other than Trekkie trivia reveal all. Labour MP Paul Boateng and actress Josie Lawrence are the face of this evening's hot shot, Star Trekkers.
I didn't think I could ever like Star Trek The Next Generation. I felt it would be a kind of betrayal to like it. And I was a little bit worried when I heard the theme tune of The Next Generation, because I hated it, and I still do. I still think they should have kept that lovely woman singing her guts out, you know. But I did actually fall in love with The Next Generation. I kind of grew up with it, because The Next Generation is a kind of more adult look at the Enterprise, I feel. And it also has a real wonderful man at the head of it, and that is Captain Jean-Luc Picard, who is very sexy, a great leader.
This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the USS Enterprise.
I don't want to put Captain Kirk down, I think he's wonderful, but there was always a bit of the lad in Captain Kirk, and you knew he'd always end up snogging one of the alien ladies in their big pointy bras. You know, you knew that would happen. But with Jean-Luc Picard, he's a true born leader. He's solid. He has the most wonderful voice. He's very intelligent, and you can tell that he loves art and music, and that he'd listen to you. And I think every woman wants to find a man that would listen to her. I love his first line, you know, space, the final frontier. I mean, we're used to saying it, you know, space, the final frontier, space, the final frontier. And there's just something so wonderful in the way he says that line. He has an emphasis on the word final, which is wonderful. It's sort of space, the final frontier. And you think, oh, yes, it is. It's final, isn't it?
Space, the final frontier.
I have many, many favorite episodes of The Next Generation. But one of the most unusual, I find, is perhaps quite a quiet, moving episode, and it's called The Inner Light. A nucleonic beam strikes through the shields of the Enterprise and knocks Picard out. Oh, finally. How are you feeling? Cayman? Can you answer me?
What is this place?
And he finds himself on a strange planet, in a strange house. He has a wife, he has friends in the village. He lives 30 years in 30 minutes of this different kind of life. And it's wonderful because it gives us the chance to see Captain Jean-Luc Picard living the life of a family man through an entire episode. There's also wonderful detail in this planet where he lives. My favourite thing of all is the saucepan. His wife says, you know, I've made you your favourite soup. And he goes, it's delicious. He goes, you always say that, you know. And she has this most fantastically horny saucepan. I mean, I would love something like that in my kitchen. There's something about stepping on to the Enterprise ship. You don't question anything that happens. The most amazing things can happen. They mess about with time all the time. You know, they go backwards, forwards, in the middle, roundabout, and you accept it. You don't question it and say, well, that wouldn't work. That's not right.
Did it get that beam back?
You step into their world with them. There are certain things in this world that I always know, hopefully, will stay with me. One is Coronation Street, and the other is Star Trek.
Well, any child, and I'm an unrepentant child of the 60s, growing up in that time, I mean, Star Trek was where you sort of went to after Doctor Who. You were grown up now. And it was gripping and entertaining stuff. It was a sort of TV that I watched as light relief from a sort of O-level orientated life. For me, a libidinous teenager, it had to be, and also one hungry for black images, because that was a time when you just didn't see black people on television. But there was this striking black woman, Lieutenant Uhura. Can't beat her. Yeah, the way that she looked at the camera, always adjusting that earpiece, the leg, the thigh. They seem to be a massive expanse of thigh.
Sensor section says the beams are working again.
What about the other systems?
Affirmative, Captain. You know, I could see her now, as I speak, Lieutenant Uhura, waiting for the message to come in.
Captain, transporter room just beamed up 5 persons.
Lieutenant Uhura was, after all, a black woman in a position of responsibility.
Alive and well.
Lieutenant Uhura was competent, always very competent. She was not the sort of woman that you would mess with. I mean, communications were her area, and she was in charge of it.
Captain, the Columbus has returned from searching quadrant 779X by 534M. The results negative.
Have them proceed to the next quadrant. Any word from engineering on our sensors?
They're working on them, sir. Still inoperable.
Well, first of all, you didn't see black people. You saw Bill Cosby on I Spy, I think it was called. Mission Impossible had a black man, but you didn't see many black people, and you therefore saw a black person in a mainstream, high-profile TV series as being something special.
Sir, sensor section reporting. Static interference, still creating false images. Estimates 80% undependable.
What about radio?
But whilst you didn't see very many black people on TV, you never saw black and white people together in any sort of romantic situation. It didn't happen. There was the occasional sort of art house film where it might happen, but in the TV world, in the world of TV, it didn't happen.
I'm so frightened, Captain. I'm so very frightened.
That's the way they want you to feel.
And, of course, with Lieutenant Uhura, it did happen. There was that kiss. There was a black woman and a white man kissing on primetime TV.
And I would see you so busy at your command. And I would hear your voice from all parts of the ship. And my fears would fade.
And it created massive problems in the United States. They weren't happy about it. There had to be a special edition to be shown in the South. And even the one that we were allowed to see, there was a sense in which the two, as it were, didn't have any control over themselves. So in some way it was all right, because had they had their own minds, had they had their own consciousness, they wouldn't, maybe, have done it. Strange, sad times. At least Star Trek began to break some of those absurd barriers down.